Welcome to the family. Latest Pixel device, a Pixel device that we know and have known a lot about, but it is finally here. It is a Pixel device that I think is going to be a popular Pixel device. There's a Pixel challenge to say the word Pixel as many times as I can in the early part of this Pixel video, because Google actually transcribes it, and the more times you say Pixel, the better it is for SEO. Don't take that advice. Anyway, it's the Pixel 6a. It's a lot like the other Pixels, but there's a catch. It's cheaper, and it's here for the summer. $449 starting price, up against the Pixel 6 at $599 and the Pixel 6 Pro at $899. So it is your easiest way into the Pixel lifestyle. I think $449 pretty competitive price. People's experiences with the last Pixel phones seem to vary. Some found them to be buggy, at least on launch. My experience with the Pixel 6 Pro was good. I didn't have any issues with it. It produced incredible images. I enjoyed the design, having the latest Android with some extra features packed in via Google. Quick spec comparison before we crack into the box. A 60 Hz FHD Plus OLED instead of the 90 on the regular 6 and the 120 on the 6 Pro. 6.1 inch display compared to 6.4 and 6.7 on the Pro model. RAM and storage, 6 gigs compared to 8 on the Pixel 6. And then 128 storage is the only option on the 6A, where you can get 256 on the 6 and 512 gigs maximum on the Pro model. Camera's a little bit different too. On the main unit, instead of having that 50 megapixel sensor, you will have a 12 megapixel sensor. Here you will also have an ultra wide camera, and that's the same 12 megapixel, or at least on paper, it's the same 12 megapixels that you're gonna get with the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro. Front camera for selfies is going to be 8 megapixels. Let's crack into this and see what color we have. They have some interesting names like Sage and so forth. I've been a Pixel fan. I might even throw my SIM in this, because something that I've been realizing over the years is how good the value phones have gotten. For the vast majority of people, you don't need to be spending $1,000 plus on a phone, and you can still have a really good phone. And maybe for myself, to go from a $2,000 phone that's Canadian to this would offer a nice little comparison of, hey, what do I feel like I'm missing? Where do I feel like I'm compromising? Maybe the value for money proposition is somewhere in a $500 to $800 range. Could be a fun experiment. Also, using a smaller phone could be fun, because I've been using some big phones recently. There it is, that's the 6A, and they did send us that sage color, which is nice. And they sent us a Pixel 6a case. However, you know, I've already got the 6a case from later case, because I had to have this ready to go if I was gonna use the phone. So you can actually pick these up right now as well. I'll link it in the description. If you're gonna buy a Pixel 6a, you have another option for an even thinner case, so the phone feels even more compact, courtesy of Kevlar. They give you a case as well, and this is translucent. Oh yeah, so this is just your typical kind of plastic case. It's actually a little harder, more structured than you might expect. What's interesting here, you get the entire cutout for the camera section, that band across the back, branding and identifying the product. Our model, you can see you get a little bit more coverage there for protection when you lay it on the table. It's not sitting on that module. You just have openings, individual apertures for the camera, flash, etc. So here is the device. They're calling it just Sage. Very small package here. Compact unboxing experience. Ooh. Kinda nice and sleek. Kinda compact. Look how they did the black around the edge. You might not expect that with a sage color. And the way that there's like these different tones along top and bottom, there are selections not just for color in the first place, but also for color combinations. I think that's a look. Moke, are we in agreement? It's kind of a look with the two-tone thing going on. Up top here, you can see the dual camera setup. So that's another thing. If I don't know if you're considering the Pro model, but obviously you would have a triple setup there instead of the dual here. 12.2 megapixel, 12 megapixel on the ultra wide. The flash is in that section there. We have our volume rocker over here, the power switch above that. And then over on the other side is your SIM tray. This is a matte finish on the aluminum frame. On the bottom here, some speakers as well as your Type-C connector for fast charging. And then on the front, we have our symmetrical front-facing camera in the center of the unit. It is not the slimmest bezel in the game. by any means. The chin is ever so slightly larger than the forehead here. Acceptable. Type-C to C cable. They do give you the A to C adapter. What's in this little box here? SIM tool, circular style, and your paperwork is a square. Welcome to your Pixel. The phone is very lightweight. Like, this is one of those ones you put it in the shorts. Maybe you got the basketball shorts, the athletic look going on, and it's not weighing you down. Sometimes there's a feeling of quality when you have a heavier phone with like a stainless steel structure to it, but it comes at, obviously at the cost of weight. And there seems to be a trend towards lightweight phones for whatever reason, and this is in that category. Very Pixel experience. Welcome to your new Pixel. Tap for tips. Yes, it's a fully stock and latest Android experience. I'm noticing right away the 60 hertz scenario. I don't know, man. Maybe my brain has been broken by fast refresh on other devices, but kind of wish it was possible to get the compact size of this phone with some of the features in like the Pro model. Now I know that's asking a lot. Like this device with 120 or even 90 hertz, I think would be more feasible for me on the daily, but who knows? That's one of those things where if you just switched over from a high refresh to this, you're gonna notice it, and maybe you're just gonna get used to it. Like, this is what the conversation was around iPhones for a really long time. People were just like, I'm used to it, leave me alone. If it's fine for you, it's fine for you, and maybe I could adjust as well and notice it less. This is the stock case. The nice thing here is that it allows you to still see the color if you pick up like the Sage phone. However, it obviously makes it bulkier and kind of accentuates the fact that you don't have the slimmest bezels to begin with, which happens with most cases, except for this one, which is the one obviously I would use on here. This is the later case. Slimmer, basically feels like the phone without any case on. Actually, I think it enhances it a little bit with the texture and the grip, and you see the full coverage over here in the camera section. Those camera sensors, IMX363DP plus optical image stabilization on the main camera, and the ultra wide is IMX386 front facing camera, 84-degree field of view, IMX355. The battery around 4,400 milliamp hours, charging not the fastest in the world, 18-watt wired charging. Let's go ahead and load up the camera here. This is obviously an area where Pixel devices have excelled in the past. So we have a 2x, obviously no telephoto in here, so you're just moving in a little bit on that sensor. In an environment where you have some decent lighting, that's the 2x, and then obviously I'm zooming even more so than that. Here is your ultra wide. Ooh. And then your main camera unit. Tons of detail there. One nice thing here as well is I just flip through these. There's no weird color shift or issue with white balance or anything like that, which is not always the case for devices in this environment. I've done all types of comparisons, pixel selfie comparisons in the past, where other devices will like really do some funky stuff with the skin. This one, to me, and it just for me, looks a little bit more true to life, which I like because I'm not really about most of those filters and so on. For skin tones, they call it real tone, and they claim all types of proficiency for a variety of skin tones from light to dark. Resolution up to 4K and frame rate up to 60. Okay, so this is a video sample, 4K, 30 frames per second, the audio via the microphone, which is on board on the Pixel 6a, and the image stabilization is turned on. And that should give you an idea of 4K video performance. Obviously, the audio that you are hearing is coming via the microphones on the 6A as well. The audio test is maybe as impressive as the video test there. Super clear for dialogue if you're talking into camera and pointing at things. They do have some voice enhancement features which aim to kind of diminish the competing noise and focus in specifically on the dialogue. There are stereo speakers in here.
Whatever you want, whatever style you want to attempt, go for it. We might build a concept.
The sound is very frontal. I think it's actually mostly because of this speaker unit up here, the earpiece facing front. If I cover here, you're getting sound out of the other side. And if I cover there, you're getting a low end over there. A fairly typical setup, but overall clear sounding audio. And that's one of those areas where you may find companies skimp a little bit when you're looking at their more budget-oriented devices, because that's not something that shows up on a spec sheet, really. They just, oh, stereo speakers. Okay, well, how good are those? I've tried out enough phones to know that it's one of the places that cost cutting does occur. It seems like it was an important consideration for this device. Oh, fingerprint. It is in display on this model. Maybe not the fastest we've seen. It has a strong haptic. Gung, gung, pip, pom, pip, pom. How long are we gonna... It's definitely not ultra fast. Like a little face unlock. I know it's not as secure, but sometimes the versatility there is nice. So it's a bit unfortunate, no face unlock option, but you can live. We have some fancy widgets we can long press, and look at this stuff. Well, wallpapers are readily available. They're like intentionally blurred, so your icons pop out. So changing the wallpaper is essentially like a theme change. This drop-down menu changed color as well. So like if I go over here and switch back to something like this, now you can see that the whole phone adapts to meet the criteria of that wallpaper. Some new widgets, some new looks, clock, weather. If I was to tap here and switch my wallpaper and style again, you'll see that it'll carry through like it did before. Okay. Cool, lovely. Some stylings. If I even open calculator, it will also have the theme applied. As it does. Look at, isn't that a pretty looking calculator, Mo? This is a test of the transcription function on the new Pixel 6a from Google. Thank you, Google. Yeah, it's pretty bang on. Look at this, Mo. It just keeps going and going and going. And you're over there recording. Been a couple of hours and we're still goofing around on the new phone. And I'm talking really casually, to be honest. And yet still, every single word is transcribed effectively. And there's something oddly satisfying about seeing my words turn into transcribed text as quickly as is happening here on the Pixel 6a. Yeah, it's good. It's quality. This is the type of stuff right here where Google just destroys. They man, voice and assistant that I use in the car on a daily basis. I don't need to touch the screen. I don't get distracted. I stare at the road and I say I need to navigate to a particular place, and it just nails it almost every single time. Just like that. Hey Google, set a timer for 10 seconds. Stop. The alarm goes off in the morning. You're just like, stop, stop. Ooh, quick phrases are kind of cool. Voice is kind of cool. It's this area I've been talking about. I feel like people are kind of sleeping on it. Never mind the snooze reference. Google is doing it well, but a lot of other companies are not. So people give up on voice. It's one of those things where if it misfires too many times, you just give up on it completely. You know, once we get into this conversational way of doing it, where it's just start, stop, go to this place, do this thing, set this reminder, the deeper that we can reach into the device and a variety of features in the device with our voices, the more frequent our usage and the smarter it's gonna get, and you see where this goes. So they claim that the device has something called adaptive charging, charges steadily overnight to preserve your battery. It's smart enough to use your alarm to completely charge by wake up. It's all about balancing that charge when you don't need it to be fast. All right, so it's obviously not the fastest charging phone in the world. 18 watts, good enough for you. 449, you do the math. We're using, of course, a wonderful Anker Power Brick Nano 2, 45 watt capable, more than enough power there. And look at the size of it, isn't that wonderful? There we go. Charging rapidly, full in 1 hour. So from 66 to full in an hour, maybe not your favorite recharge you've ever seen. All right, so there you have it. It is a new Pixel phone. It is the Pixel 6a. It is the budget Pixel phone. And it's probably not gonna knock your socks off, but it's not designed to do that. This is the more affordable, more approachable Pixel device. It is the more pocketable Pixel device. It does some things well, like the camera. It's got a hell of a chip in it. However, you take a step back a little bit, going down to 60 hertz, where the regular 6 is at 90 hertz and the Pro model is all the way up at 120. The speakers sound good. The charging, not insanely fast. You have the vanilla Android experience, which means you're kind of getting the most advanced features from Google as soon as they become available, and you're getting maybe the best interaction with things like Assistant and so on. I guess the question then becomes, if you're in the market for a Pixel phone, which one should you be looking for? I think for this customer base, $449, I think they've kind of hit on some of the things that a Pixel buyer would be looking for. I wish that there was this form factor with some of the features that we come to expect on more sort of flagship devices, like with the refresh and so on. Smaller phones require smaller prices for the most part, and therefore they can't have every single feature packed in. But this thing feels so portable and so comfortable coming from some of the devices I've been using recently that there is, I don't know, something compelling about that. I think I'm gonna use it a little bit, maybe have some more thoughts for you guys, probably put it on Lou later. And it actually just wears this later case so well from the portability and sleekness perspective. Maybe the SIM card goes in, maybe. I'm actually gonna go sit in the massage chair and get this thing set up, do a little bit of a migration, and see if it can work its way into my pocket. Thanks to Pulseway for sponsoring this episode.
Pulseway is a real-time remote monitoring and management software application that allows you to solve technical issues on the go. You can send commands from any mobile device, and the software is compatible with Windows, Mac, and Linux. The Pulseway app gives you remote desktop functionality so you can see logged in users, get access to real-time status, system resources, monitor network performance, manage Windows updates, and more. Pulseway is currently offering a free 14-day trial with no credit card info required. Plus, you can get up to 20% off when you sign up with the link in the description.